What do you see with Rory?
I see the battery low, to be quite frank. I see, you know, when people have a bad day, you know, we're very quick to rush to judgment that always his golf swing or always his driver or always his putting or he's got this technical issue going on. And we forget about the importance of psychology in the game and how huge it is, particularly at this level. And you know, one of the features of his golf over the last 15 months, or 14 months in particular, with all of the stuff that's gone on in the game, has been his ability to focus. And we've talked about this and we've admired this from a distance to say, how can, with all of this stuff going on, with him front and centre, he still be able to churn out the performances and the wins that he's had in the last year and you know, be pretty much the dominant player up there with a couple of others in the game. It's quite incredible what he's achieved. What I saw today was tired. I saw battery down. I saw a guy that didn't have the same focus, that was getting annoyed at himself, which was unlike him. And I just, as I say, I feel the battery was down. All that's going on in the game. You know, you think about what's happened even in the last 2 weeks alone. You know, he had a 7-hour board meeting the last day. He's been front and centre of everything's going on, and he's the guy been out taking the bullets from the media more so than other players. I'd like to see more players out there as well too, backing up their own tour. This is not Rory's tour. It's not Tiger's tour. It's not Jay Monahan's tour. It's not the board's tour. We talked about this last night. This is owned by the players, and if this is going to work, and these new designated events are going to work, everybody's got to go row in behind, and they can't just have one spokesperson and let him take all the bullets. Everybody's got to be in there supporting and driving this ship forward. So, you know, I see a guy that played very well in Bay Hill. Obviously, that took a bit out of him last week as well, too. And obviously, you know, trying to get all of the players on side. And not just the top players, but the players down, because he's such an open guy. He's talking to everybody as well, too, about these designated events and talking through it and, you know, going through all of the reasoning why they are going to move to this new product of the PGA Tour. So all of this takes its toll, and I just see Rory is tired, and I just think the battery is down, and I'm just hoping that, you know, it's going to be a big ask to get back in this tournament. He says there he could shoot 65 tomorrow, but he's still going to be well off the pace even at that. Can he keep on going for 3 more days? I just hope there's a bit of rest coming between now and Augusta. You know, he's on the verge of probably entering the Masters with a stronger chance of completing the Grand Slam than he probably has done for 10 years. You know, I think he's a better player now than he has been in the last 10 years. I think he's more equipped, you know, from being such a much better putter to being better psychologically, to being a better golfer, to being more experienced than he has been ever entering the Masters. And I just hope that he gives himself the best chance by, this is all done, take a deep breath now, walk away and look after Rory, because what I see is he seems to be looking after so many things, and that in turn has a downturn when it comes to his golf. And I saw that today. I just see a guy who's fatigued and the battery is low.
Yeah, look, it's hard to argue with that point. I have said that I thought that for the first time ever he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and I think that has been vitalizing to him. But after finishing second last week, coming here and listening to Jay Monahan talk about how much time he'd spent on Zoom calls, how much time he'd spent trying to explain this to his fellow members on the PGA Tour, how much time he'd spent accommodating all the requests that he's got for the media, played a central role in creating this new format going forward. He's played the lead role in getting the information out there and informing the mass of the membership on the PGA Tour, and no doubt a lead role in convincing the rank and file on the PGA Tour that these designated events, believe it or not, with smaller fields would eventually be good for the rank and file. That would have been no easy task. I think the part that has probably, and again, no way of knowing this, but the part I feel like that would have troubled him the most is trying to convince his fellow stars that a mandate is in their best interest. I know Rory would be quite happy being designated with a mandate to play all of these events. It's just convincing his fellow stars of the same thing. And I can only imagine the conversations that he's had with his fellow stars saying, no, this is good for the PGA Tour. This is good for the future of this format. And perhaps you're right. Perhaps all of that from last Sunday to today was a bit taxing. You're right. I could look at his golf swing and say, didn't look as good. I could look at his putting stroke and say it didn't look as good. I could pick it apart and say he didn't drive it as well. But the fact is, this golf course, if you stray from the fairway, is very difficult. But the fact is that if you don't have your wits about you, the game of golf on the easiest golf course is difficult.
All right, so
Well,
go ahead,
sorry,
Paul.
Rich. Just what I give an example of it today. You know, we saw some clumsiness from him today. You know, and that's an illustration that you're not focused.
Like
you know,
on 10, the chip on 10. Like
chip
on the
10. I
10
mean, he
and on
never
9.
chips it off the green. Then the 3-putt on 16, having hit an unbelievable shot onto the green in 2. Clumsy, knocking it 8 feet by with a putt down the hill, and then finishing on 9. That's the clumsiness when I talk about focus. Those things don't happen when he's focused.